In the early 20th century, the landscape of military firearms was undergoing a massive transformation. Bolt-action rifles were dominating the battlefield, automatic weapons were emerging, and sidearms were becoming an essential part of a soldier's kit. At the heart of this transition lies one of the most iconic combinations in firearms history: the .45 ACP cartridge and the 1911 pistol. These two innovations, developed in tandem, not only reshaped how the U.S. Armed Forces approached handgun combat, but also left an indelible mark on the world of firearms that continues to this day. Let's explore, right here, on History of Simple Things. To understand the origins of the .45 ACP or 45 Auto and the 1911 pistol, we have to go back to the Philippine-American War at the turn of the century. During that brutal conflict, American soldiers found themselves in close-quarters combat with Moro warriors, fierce fighters who often charged despite being shot multiple times. The standard-issue sidearm at the time, the .38 long Colt revolver, proved woefully inadequate. Stories circulated of enemy combatants taking several rounds to the chest and continuing to attack. This combat experience revealed a dire need for a more powerful, more effective handgun round, something that could stop an attacker with a single shot, if necessary. The military's dissatisfaction set the stage for a revolution in sidearm design and ammunition. Enter John Moses Browning, the legendary American firearms designer whose influence on gun development is almost unparalleled. Browning was already well known for his successful designs with Winchester and Colt, but the U.S. Army's search for a new service pistol gave him the opportunity to craft what would become one of his most enduring legacies. Browning worked closely with Colt to develop a new semi-automatic pistol, and at the same time, he designed a new cartridge that would match its stopping power requirements. The .45 automatic Colt pistol, better known as the .45 ACP or 45 Auto. The .45 ACP cartridge was developed around 1904 with help from the U.S. Army's Ordnance Department and the famed ammunition company Frankfurt Arsenal. The resulting round was a rimless, straight-walled cartridge firing a 230-grain bullet at around 830 feet per second. What made it particularly effective was its combination of relatively low velocity with high mass, which translated to excellent stopping power at close range with manageable recoil. Unlike the .38 long Colt, the .45 Auto round could put down a charging adversary with far fewer shots. It was exactly what the military needed for the kind of up-close and personal engagements common in jungle warfare and trench combat. With the ammunition sorted, all eyes turned to the pistol that would fire it. Browning's prototype, which would become the M1911, went through extensive military trials. The tests were grueling and designed to simulate the worst battlefield conditions. In the infamous 1910 trials, Browning's Colt pistol fired 6,000 rounds with no malfunctions, an astonishing feat at the time. Competing designs fell short, and Browning's semi-automatic pistol emerged as the clear winner. On March 29, 1911, the U.S. Army formally adopted the pistol as the M1911. It marked the beginning of a service life that would span decades, wars, and generations of soldiers. The M1911 was a marvel of design. It was a single-action, recoil-operated pistol with an internal hammer and a 7-round magazine. The controls were intuitive, and its steel frame gave it durability in harsh conditions. Most importantly, it fired the powerful .45 ACP round with impressive accuracy. During World War I, The 1911 quickly gained a reputation among American troops for its reliability in the muddy trenches of Europe. In World War II, it was carried by soldiers, Marines, and paratroopers alike, often becoming a prized possession on the battlefield. Even as the U.S. military explored other sidearms in the post-war years, the 1911 stuck around. Its simple design made it easy to maintain, and its performance was still world-class. In Korea and Vietnam, it once again proved itself in brutal combat conditions. By the time the 1980s rolled around, however, NATO standardization and logistical concerns led the U.S. military to adopt the Beretta M9 in 9mm, replacing the 1911 after more than 70 years of service. But even that shift didn't signal the end of the 1911 story, not by a long shot. Today, the 1911 remains one of the most popular pistols in civilian hands, law enforcement, and even elite military units. Numerous manufacturers produce variations of the platform, ranging from affordable models to high-end competition guns. The reasons for its enduring popularity are clear. The 1911 offers a crisp trigger, a slim profile, and a legendary record of reliability and performance. For many gun enthusiasts, it represents the pinnacle of handgun design. Ultimately, the legacy of the .45 Auto in the 1911 is about more than just technical specifications or military contracts. It's about a design philosophy rooted in effectiveness, durability, and real-world feedback from the battlefield. John Browning's work continues to influence firearm design over a century later, and the 1911 is still seen as a benchmark against which modern pistols are measured. From the jungles of the Philippines to the streets of today's cities, the .45 Auto and the 1911 have proven themselves in every environment imaginable. That kind of staying power is rare in any field, let alone firearms. So the next time you see a 1911 in a display case or a .45 Auto round on a shooting bench, remember that you're not just looking at a piece of hardware. You're looking at over 100 years of history, engineering excellence, and battlefield legacy, something that few other guns or cartridges can claim. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.